right, for Ask Junior this week, we're going to spin it a little bit differently. Instead of the live audience, we took questions from the folks here at Junior Motorsports. So these questions are coming from within the shop. Curious as to what kind of questions we got. They really put these in, Leah?
They really did, and some of them put in a heck of an effort.
Great. Well, let's hear it.
Hey, what's up, Dale? Freddie Kraft here, obviously. Leah's making me record a question for you here. My question is, Tommy Ryan is one of my heroes in racing. Him and my dad are best friends, and I, looked up to him all my life, mainly because he's like 6 feet taller than I am. But I know he played a big part in your career. Just tell any funny story, anything. What kind of role did he play in your career?
So Tom Ryan was a guy that Tony Jr. and Tony Sr. brought into the Bud team, and he was a big part of the success that we had at Daytona and Talladega, to be quite honest. Me and Tom would work together at the test sessions on the cowl, and the cowl was so important to how the car drafted and how it would push, how it would lead. And so he could change little things inside the cowl duct, the shape, size, form of it, to change how it reacted in any situation out on the racetrack. And we really worked hand in hand trying to perfect what the car needed from the cowl. And he was really, really good at it. But, man, when we went to those plate tests, me and him spent a lot of time working run after run. I would have to debrief with him about the cowl and how I felt it was performing. And he was always tuning on that thing and changing it. And you never found something that you stuck with for years, right? You never found something that you, even in the same season, what worked at Daytona, we were always trying to improve it. And he never let up.
One other thing about Tom is that when you were going to Hendrick Motorsports, and Hendrick basically told Tony Eury Jr., you can bring 2 or 3 people. They gave him a number. Tom was one of those 2 or 3 people that went to Hendrick, and he is still there today.
Yes.
Wow.
He's a great employee.
All right, next question.
Hi, guys. I'm Dave Ellens, crew chief of the number 9 Xfinity car. And I was curious to ask Dale Jr. about a lot of first wins we've had for different people throughout the history of JRM. And I think probably 2 of the most important wins from his standpoint would be the win with Josh Berry at Martinsville and then the win with Keselowski at Nashville back at the infancy of JRM. So my question would be, how are those 2 wins different in what they mean to you? One being at the very beginning when, you didn't know where JRM was going to go and how successful it would become, and then one with our most recent success, knowing what our team and company's capable of. Just what's the difference between those?
When we started Junior Motorsports, so the win with Brad Keselowski was a big deal because we were such a struggling, trying to develop type of team for so many years, trying to get the right driver, trying to get the cars better. It seemed like we were always just a little bit behind on our cars and equipment. I brought Tony Sr. and Tony Jr. in here, and Tony Sr. was a big part of getting us to the winner's circle, getting our cars good enough to win. And Brad Keselowski was the driver that was doing the same thing from behind the seat, getting us the type of performance on the racetrack and effort out of the driver, getting the talent from the driver's seat that we were needing. And that was a great combination for us for a good while to show us what we were capable of and sort of set a new standard. Once you start to do what we were able to do with those 2, we expected that out of ourselves. We'd never expected that out of ourselves until that point. So Brad and Tony Sr. working together and getting us to Victory Circle really shaped what the new standard would be going forward. And we've always tried to achieve and expect to achieve that type of success since. Now with Josh, it was really more about I knew what the team could do and knew what the car was capable of and believe in Taylor as a crew chief and want to see him have success. But we've been working with Josh trying to get him opportunities and really threw a Hail Mary to get him into the car a little bit this year and hoped that it would pay off. And it would have been very frustrating up to that point. Josh was super frustrated with how his luck had been going and just things weren't. He couldn't figure out how to finish races and put races together. He had shown good speed, but nobody was going to remember that. He needed to have the results. It's been great to see Taylor really benefit from working with Josh the way he has. I think it's helped him with his confidence and his feeling about what he does as a crew chief and going, his future. So that's a great bonus that I didn't really see happening. He's now so motivated to try to get Josh more success in the few opportunities he got going forward. And then Sam Mayer gets in the car for the rest of the year, and we start that process all over again, trying to get Sam Mayer to victory lane, trying to get Sam Mayer the results that we feel like he needs or he feels like he needs. So, and I think the success that Josh has had this year and how that has benefited Taylor is going to benefit Sam. Taylor's going into the Sam Mayer part of the season with way more confidence in himself, right? That he knows that he's doing the right thing to the cars and preparing the cars. So,
Next question.
Hey, Junior, it's your iRacing crew chief, Steven Steffen. Just want to know what your favorite iRacing / sim racing or online gaming memory is.
Man, I mean, I won the very first World Drivers' Championship race. That is definitely will be my favorite memory. The iRacing NASCAR Championship Series that happens, that we're a part of, we're a team in there with Junior Motorsports. That series started probably in 2008 or 2010. I can't remember, but it started way back, and I was in the very first season. I think I ran for a couple years, but I was in the first season and won the first race. And I won it on fuel mileage. If a caution hadn't come out at the end of the race, this was before we had green, white checkers, but if a caution hadn't come out, I probably would have ran out and not won the race. But if I was stretching my fuel mileage and probably going to be a little short, caution comes out, and I was able to save fuel to get to the finish line and win. But I'll go back, every once in a while, I'll go back and look at the finishing order and look at all the names that were in that series back then. And some of those guys are still racing today. Brad Davies was in that race.
Oh, that's cool.
Heck, Stephen might have been in it. I don't know, but pretty fun.
Hey Dale, Taylor Moyer here. I crew chief for you sometimes. Hey, I had a question. As a team owner and talent scout, is it more impressive to you if a driver outperforms subpar equipment on a full season schedule, or if a driver saves his money and performs or wins a bunch of races in better equipment on a limited schedule?
I think it's more impressive when a driver takes a car that doesn't run well and outperforms in it or makes the car run better than it should. That's usually the sign to me that this guy's got extraordinary ability. There's a lot of drivers out there that can win in great equipment. Not everybody can, but there's a lot of guys that if you put them in one of the best cars out there, they're going to go and do what it's supposed to do. That's not a wrong way to do it, but I definitely am more impressed when I see a car consistently run poorly and one guy gets in it and makes it run better. The good drivers will get everything out of the car. All right, if it's a first-place car, they'll run first. If it's a fifth-place car, they'll run fifth. Those are the good drivers. The great ones will take that fifth-place car and win. And there's only a few that can do that. And it's easier to see that talent or that ability when it's a really bad car, right? If it's a 30th. It's harder to see a fifth-place car go run first because you really don't know. Wait, was it a fifth place? Was it? Yeah, it's a 5. But if it's a 30th place car and he can run 15th, then you're like, man, this guy might have something unique.
I always remember you saying that about Brad Keselowski before I ever knew who he was. Yeah. You were saying this guy, he's not supposed to be finishing in the truck series where he's finishing.
He was driving in an Xfinity car, this black 23.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were, I was watching him in Atlanta, and he found the top groove, and he was running about 15 spots better than he should have been.
Right.
And then we went to Bristol just a couple weeks later, and he qualified in the top 10.
Yeah.
With a car that's about a 25th place car, maybe. So that was like light bulb. This guy can do it. Then he jumps in that truck in Memphis and almost won.
Right.
I was thinking, in my mind, I'm like, we got to hurry. We got to hurry and hire this guy. They're going to scoop him up.
I remember.
I don't know if there was that much demand at that particular point, but I was certainly rushing to figure out if we could get him in our car.
All right, one more question.
Hey, TJ here. Just want to know about that one time hanging out down at the Western town, and you thought you wanted to arm wrestle me. Just want to hear your side of the story.
Like I said, some people put more effort in than others.
So a couple of weeks ago, low effort, TJ.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that TJ was pretty good at arm wrestling, and I guess he's wanting.
He's wanting more. Yeah.
People don't believe that, and he must be hearing the disbelief and going, "Double down, Dale Jr. I need you to double down."
Yep.
Yeah. So he's pretty good at arm wrestling. He really is. Mike, did you arm wrestling?
No, but I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw a couple, and he's he has some freakish strength, I guess.
He does.
You never know it by looking at him, though.
No, you would. Well, that's Junior. You heard it from the interior of Junior Motorsports. So a lot of great questions there, and some people did come with some pretty good ones. So enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, and appreciate Xfinity for supporting this part of the show.